Hello and welcome. I'm Angela Meiritz-Reid of Stamping Beauty in Christchurch, New Zealand, and this is the card I'm going to be creating today. It's for the Hop Abroad Instagram hop. If you'd like to take the hop, please pop over to my Instagram account. I'll pop a link in the description box below. And if you live in New Zealand and would like copies of the current catalogues, please message me, as I'd love to send them to you. And I'll also have links to all the products that I've used if you're interested in purchasing them. So I've just looked at that, and that's a little bit crooked. I must have stuck it on and it's stuck on skew width, so I'll have to redo that at some stage. But that one there is nice and straight. And you can see that's slightly lighter watercolouring. So I'm going to do the watercolouring first, so it gives time to dry, although I have got another piece that I've done just to show you. So I'll just bring in some scrap paper, and every time I do the watercolouring it just looks different. So I've got a piece of the Fluid 100 and I'm going to die cut with that. So I'm going to die cut a little bit there and move along so I can get all the flowers in. And I'm going to be using the Bubble Bath ink and Daffodil Delight. So I've got watercolour, water painters for both of those. Now with the Bubble Bath, for some reason, if you touch that onto this, it really grabs it and just makes the colour quite deep. Here's one that I was playing with earlier. See, it's sort of got that really grabbed into the paper. So I'm going to try and not have that happen. So what I do is just flood the whole card. I'm just going to do the Bubble Bath at sort of the ends here, and then I'm going to do the Daffodil Delight in the middle, and I've still got some on the brush, so I'll just pop that on there and it will just bleed in, and that's fine. So I'll just do this, and see, that doesn't grab on and stick into the paper for some reason. So you just want it to be sort of organic, and it doesn't really matter too much how it looks, because it's going to be die cut, so it doesn't need to be sort of all uniform. So what I'm going to do is pick up some colour here and just take it on here just to add a bit of colour first. Do the same in here. So if I add, so you can see it's grabbed a bit there, but that's okay. It's on the edge, so hopefully won't be too noticeable when I die cut it. Add a bit more depth of colour in there. This must be just something to do with the pigment and that ink that makes it do that. I just want to get a bit of variation with those colours. So you can do any sort of way you like, how you want to get the ink on there. It won't really matter. So I'm just going to set that aside to dry. And then I also want to do one with the Granny Apple Green for the leaves. I've got a bit of green ink on there already. So just flood that with the ink there. And then just bring in a little bit of the darker. You can have that sort of mottled if you want, or just one colour. Doesn't really matter. Just depends what sort of look you want. So I'll just set that aside to dry too. And then what I've done is I've got a Bubble Bath card base, and I've cut it down. So the normal height for a New Zealand card is another centimetre, but I've chopped it down a bit because this is one of the Stitch with Whimsy dies, and if I grab a New Zealand sized, so this is a New Zealand sized card. Just open that up. When you see it on there, it doesn't really, there's more space here, so I've just chopped that down to make it look a bit more even. And then I've got another piece of white cardstock that's just slightly wider, just to give that nice sort of edge to it. So I'll bring in my die cutting machine. Just run that through. Just want to get that nice and even on that piece of basic white card. And you just run that through. Do it nice and gently, so don't try not to bump the camera too much. Oops. So it gives that lovely stitch look. And I'm a bit of a sucker for stitching. And then I'm just going to stick that onto here. See, so just a bit of glue on there. Just make sure it's nice and even around the edges. And I've got my dark bubble bath Stampin' blends. That on there, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of a flick on the background just to take a bit of that stark whiteness away. And you just need to be gentle when you're doing that so you don't ruin the nib. And then I want to pop this onto dimensionals. Just get a few of those onto here, get it nice spaced out. Backs off, and then I just want to get that nice and evenly popped, not like that other one, on the back there. Okay, and then I have got one of these that I'd done earlier, so you can see what a difference that one looks too. Just every time you do it, you get a different result, which makes life a little bit interesting. So just with the green, just want to die cut those leaves, so I'll just pop that, get those onto there, and just run that through. And with something intricate like this, I usually go forward and then back, just to give it a little bit extra opportunity to cut through that nicely, which it has done. To one side, just get those bits off, and then I want to get this onto here, and I'll run that through again to get that other petal. It was just a bit of a scrap I had left, so I thought, well, I may as well use it instead of cutting into a nice new sheet. So I'll do the same thing, just go right through that way and then back. And when this paper is a little bit damp, it does cut quite well and come away quite easily. Just have to be careful not to tear it. And then just looking for my take. Oh, here it is. It's got that nice pierced end, so you can pop that out. And then I just want to do that top flower again. Try and get a bit of pink onto that. And run that through again. This once and twice. Once you've, I did a whole lot of these for the swaps that I took to Las Vegas, and I just painted lots and lots of sheets of the Fluid 100 and just die cut them. So it didn't take too long. So it got into a bit of a routine, a bit of a rhythm. So then what I want to do with those Let's get my paper snips. Just going to cut those apart, cut those bits off. Just cut them so they look like they were never there. And you can poke those bits out if you want. I don't worry. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, just depends. Just trim those bits off there. And lastly, we've got this one here. And the leaf. So just trim that bit off there and poke those little bits out there. And then that is that part of it done. And then it's a matter of popping it together. So my card front. And it is quite good with those bits still left in, because then you can just pop your dimensionals behind there. And probably only need a half in there. I don't stick them down too much. I sort of like sometimes when you get a bit of movement with the petals. And then that one there, and I've already got one I like, and they'll like the layout. I just lay that on and then just sort of go back that way so I can see. Got it in a good place. And then this one is just going to tuck in under here, and this one up top here. So you can see those colours, you know, you get a bit of interest, don't you, I'll just snip that off, with the colours in different places. And then I'm just going to put a little half, and what I do is take that top bit off, pop that onto there, and so it's going to be on dimensionals too. I'm just going to tuck it in under there, and then I've got some of the gold thread from the Simply Elegant duo, which has got the silver and gold. Just make a bow. It's quite a nice big generous bow. And I quite often just pop both loops over my finger and just pull down at the bottom so I can make sure that they're nice and even. You can faff around with those a bit later if you like. That's a good starting point. And then I just want a glue dot. It's going to go down about there. I'll come off. And then just tuck that onto there, and then I can pop the sentiment over the top. And that's a good thing with the glue dot too, you can sort of press things into how you want them to sit onto it. And then I'll just trim that a bit. Trying to get it to go where I want it to go. And then I'm going to do the sentiment. So I've got the little sentiment, You Made My Day. And seeing it's rid of polymer, I'm going to use this foam board. And I've got some more of the Bubble Bath cardstock, my Versamark ink pad and embossing buddy. I'm going to trim that down so it doesn't need to be straight. Got a lovely new container of white, so I can start with that and tip it into here. So I think that looks nice. well covered. So I'm just going to heat set that so I won't be on it. So it looks nice and subtle on the white. And then I'll just bring in my little trimmer and I'm going to trim that as close as I can. Get it nice and straight. Once you've got one edge straight, then it's easier to go from there. Otherwise, if you're not so keen on doing this, you could get a die. I'm sure there'll be a die somewhere that will work for this sentiment. Then I just want to pop that over the top of that, and I'm just going to use some dimensionals. So just some, the mini ones are quite good. Along here, and see this one on the other side, hopefully just avoid that knot in the bow. Get those backs off, and then to get it nice and straight I usually start at the bottom and then just line it up and try and take it up as evenly as I can. Check, it looks okay. And then lastly, I've got some of these pastel adhesive back sequins, and there's some lovely gold ones in there. Just going to use my take your pick tool again and put one down here, a little small one sort of over here, just anchor it to that petal, and then one last one up here. And that is my card complete. I hope you enjoyed that video, and as you can see, every time you do it you can get a different look, and lots of you know, you could use lots of lovely different combinations with the Stampin' Up colours. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the hop too. Take care and bye for now.